Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Elizabeth Nakakuni will join us in a bit. Let's take a look at the top stories. UHRC Chairperson Wangadia meets Kasese at Parliament. National Environment Management Authority intensifies evictions of wetlands encroachers. While President Yoweri Museveni renews term for court-martial chairman Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe. And in sports, Federation of Football Association FUFA reiterated fight against match fixing in the country. Hello once again. The Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises has tasked officials from Human Rights Commission to hear and discharge cases, thus handling the challenge of case backlogs. Officials had appeared before the committee to answer queries of the Auditor General.
Officials from Uganda Human Rights Commission have appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises to answer queries in the Auditor General's report for financial year 2022-2023. According to the accounting officer, Uganda Human Rights Commission, the Commission asked for 78 billion shillings and was told to reduce, and asked for 54 billion but were allocated 20 billion, hence finding gap of 34 billion shillings. The director, Legal Uganda Human Rights Commission, said they require 5 million shillings to handle each complaint at the tribunal.
And you get 99% of the releases and you utilize the money. Yet you remain with over 1,500 cases, partially and pending. That one means that either there is poor budgeting internally.
It requires money. It requires witness refunds to both our complainants and their witnesses, and also the expert witnesses that we summon. So still, we cannot be able to conduct a session here in Kampala because it also has costs.
Member of Parliament Dr. Batuwa wanted officials to explain if they ask for money to perform their mandate of hearing cases or requisition money to pay for their salaries.
That you were left with only 400 million and you split it into three, an activity that used 100 million and the other two activities used 150 million each. So I got worried that you're not budgeting to run activities which are mandated to you by the Constitution.
Over the years, the Commission has faced challenges of lack of quorum caused by expiration of contracts of members and death of some members of the Commission. The Uganda Human Rights Commission is the constitutional body which has been affected most by death of commissioners over the years.
Member of Parliament Itungo Nathan inquired about the transport refund for witnesses. His interest was on Bobi Wine and Dr. Kizza Besigye.
Money you gave to Kyagulanyi or Dr. Besigye, would you give me that voucher? Yes or no?
No.
The rules of the game are for a refund for witnesses. Why didn't you refund the witnesses of Dr. Kizza Besigye and Honorable Kyagulanyi?
Also looking at the documents to see whether they are fully aware that money meant to be a refund for Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi was actually sent back to Bank of Uganda. Unfortunately, the documents don't speak so. So we want to know exactly where this money is.
Members of Parliament tried to divert the debate to issues of arrest of MPs, and Sewanyana also talked about Wangadia's misinformation to the press about their treat in prison, which the chair guided that all those issues were not relevant to the debate at hand.
Of prison, to the media, she reported that we were very okay. We were just pinched, but up to now, my colleague, Honorable Segirinya, is fighting for life in Nairobi. So there is now evidence that because of their poor budgeting method, they now attribute it to some members of Parliament that must lobby to have increased the budget, which some of the members of Parliament are now in prison, and because that's evidence.
Honorable
Remember, to raise matters of this committee, raise matters which are not only sub judice but are prejudicial. I think we should really focus on the report.
I would also guide that we avoid any matter that is prejudicial, because this committee will not be prejudiced or even be prejudiced with regard to issues relating to our colleagues.
A question that challenged the Human Rights Commission chairperson to respond to was whether she said her commissioners go on duty armed.
I have no answer.
Incidentally, they must have an answer. Is it true you say some of your commissioners enter commission meetings with guns? It's a yes or no. That one I will not protect you.
The question is unfair.
No, it is a fair question.
Mr. Chair, you've now
Wait.
seen the character.
No.
I just want to appeal to her to respect this committee. This is not the Human Rights Commission that she chairs.
You are trying to give Madam Mwanga is as if she is so special, different from others.
Officials were told to return to the committee on Friday with relevant documents. I'm Navka Farida and Gloria Ngwetabinji at Parliament.
And the National Environment Management Authority has issued a prior warning to those living in gazetted wetlands of Kawempe, Chinawataka, Nakawa, Chireka and Banda. In a new development, Buganda Land Board has asked NEMA to compensate all those affected in the Luigi restoration exercise.
National Environment Management Authority has intensified evictions of people encroaching on wetlands to protect the ecosystems and reduce the effects of climate change. In the evictions at Luigi Wetland and the Luigi Wetland restoration exercise, more structures have been demolished.
I'm really disgusted and I'm really very amazed because in NEMA, the meaning of NEMA starts with a man. All these things around us are benefit of man.
Makeshift houses, business houses, taxi park and other residential houses and also crops that have been grown in the wetland were not spared. But before the evictions, people were allowed to remove all their property, contrary to the first eviction.
We have a pretense from some of our leaders that were elected. If you look and you put into consideration the same laws that NEMA is following to demolish and destroy people's items, they are being amended and made from the parliament. And the same budget that NEMA is using to hire vehicles or to come and exploit is the same money that is being passed in our budget. So I ask, or even I have a question is, when they were passing these laws and the funds to facilitate these people to come and break down our items, where were our MPs?
The exercise also kicked off in some parts of Nabweru. In Kawempe, houses to be demolished have been marked and occupants given a timeline to vacate, although some have vowed not to leave before they are compensated.
So our prayer to the government to compensate these people. As we speak now, most of them are going to take the legal action.
All people living in Gazette wetlands in Kawempe, Chinawataka, Nakawa, Chireka Banda have been given prior notice to vacate before the eviction starts.
So we are taking a matter to courts of law so that at least the court can make a ruling so that everything is turned at still. But it's very unfortunate that this illegality is going on.
NEMA says the restoration process will continue in accordance with all the guiding policies and regulations on wetland restoration.
But whether this is a human right or an environment right or another right will be subject to interpretation of the court. But as far as we're concerned, we are doing what our mandate requires us to do.
Meanwhile, Buganda Land Board has clarified on what they called conflict of interest.
And another thing I want to clear is that BLB does not give out Bibanja. People don't buy from BLB. They buy from their own other people, from LCs, from municipal councils. So we just come and work on behalf of the government. The lease we give out, it is on behalf of the government. It is government that endorses that lease on behalf of Buganda Land Board. And Buganda Land Board is only there to know who is the rightful owner of the Chibanja.
Buganda has asked NEMA to compensate all Lubiji wetland affected persons in accordance with the law.
People bought their pieces of land, they are being evicted, they built houses while NEMA was watching. So what we would say as Buganda is to tell NEMA to look into these people's wills, to go an extra mile and compensate these people.
Depletion of wetlands has been attributed to unpredictable weather conditions leading to several calamities in some parts of the country, like prolonged dry spells, floods, mudslides, pests and diseases, among others. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
And the Commander-Chief of Defence Forces, General Yoweri Museveni, has renewed the contract of Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe for another term as Chairman General Court Martial. Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe's contract was renewed together with other members of this court to serve for a year.
Reasons.
President Yoweri Museveni has reappointed Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe, Chairman of the General Court Martial. Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe's contract was renewed together with other 19 members in this court. The members include Private Kanyoma Habib, Colonel John Mark Semanda, Major Cyprian Sande Magezi, Lieutenant Colonel Simon Tungura, Colonel Joseph Okalebo, Captain Abdubasa Jabalaba, Lieutenant Colonel David Baguma, and Oya Boris Mark. Others are Major Commander Silas Mutonj, Defense Counsel, Colonel Richard Tukachungura, Judge Advocate, and Lieutenant Colonel Rafael Mugisha as the lead prosecutor. President Museveni has also appointed Major Frank Achiguru Asimwe as the registrar of this court, representing Major John Bizimana, who clocked his retirement age of recent. Apart from Major Frank Chiguru Asimwe, other members are not new in this court. The members are now awaiting swearing in. The cases that await this court include the 32 National Unity Platform supporters, Eddie Mutu and others who on offences of unlawful possession of ammunition, and the 18 suspects in the murder of police officers. The renewal of Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe's contract comes at a time when the Supreme Court awaits to deliver its ruling on whether this court has jurisdictions to try civilians.
It's illegal because the Constitutional Court pronounced itself twice that there is nothing called General Court Martial, there is no court martial, because it's set up outside the constitutional framework of the country. We filed our submissions, we left it up to court to make a decision. But pending that decision, the position of the law, as pronounced by the Constitutional Court, is that we have no court martial.
Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
And at least 90,000 learners in 72 schools, 32 districts are benefiting by receiving reading materials from Child Fund Uganda and Longhorn publishers under their strategic partnership to improve literacy levels among early grade learners. The benefiting schools are in central, western and eastern districts, these in areas characterized as hard to reach.
Foundational classes play a critical role in shaping reading skills of learners. However, many children struggle to achieve such skills, a scenario that negatively impacts their overall learning experience. In order to contribute towards improving the literacy and numeracy levels of learners in foundational classes, Child Fund Uganda and Longhorn publishers have entered into a 5-year partnership to avail textbooks to 90,000 learners in 72 schools in hard-to-reach areas.
And we are starting this fiscal year with 553 million Uganda shillings, targeting 72 schools, and most especially looking at the early grade learners, because the intention is to address the crisis of learning in schools where children are in school but do not have any form of readers or learners materials for them to reference to. Also, with this support, the teachers will be capacitated.
There's only so much you can achieve as Longhorn and Child Fund. We need the involvement of other partners, other NGOs that will fund this in order to scale to more districts and have an impact to more schools. And also from the ministry, when we get more impetus from them and input from them, we feel this cause will be successful. So I look forward to the full implementation of this program, which not only encompasses the distribution of learning materials, it has a big aspect of capacity building for the teachers.
We are even looking at partnering in other areas that can bring a change to our communities. Digital is another agenda that we have, which would make learning more accessible and even cheaper. Technology cannot be avoided now in everything that we do. So we are also looking into that direction.
According to Child Fund, African economies will grow if there is meaningful investment in the foundational skills of the children by building foundational literacy.
And we are the only people who develop Africa, not anybody else. So let's not look outside there. I think Africa has the resources we need. We are the youngest population. We have the level of intelligence we need. And all developed countries are depending on Africa, on our raw materials. Why should we be looking outside? This is the time we need to look at Global South and see what we can do as organizations to tap into that and build Africa. And building Africa means building our children, invest in our children.
Longhorn publishers will, among other things, contribute to the printing of early grade learning materials, while Child Fund will provide government-approved materials for printing and use in early grade reading and facilitate the distribution of books through local implementing partners. Adia Nakute, UBC.
Now, some members of parliament have attributed the delay to hitting the target of signatures required to censure the 4 parliamentary backbench commissioners to fear of eliminating their names from the list of designated members to sectoral committees, a process that has been postponed twice. The mover of the motion, Theodore Sechkubo, Member of Parliament Luemiaga, had hopes of closing the exercise today.
The exercise to append signatures on a motion to impeach 4 backbench parliamentary commissioners over giving themselves money amounting to 1.7 billion shillings in the name of service awards continues. The mover and seconders of the motion have continued to postpone the deadline of collecting signatures, emphasizing that it is being conducted under Rule 110 of their Rules of Procedure that makes it open until they reach the required target of 176 signatures. However, although a big number of representatives from various districts that include Bushenyi, Ibanda, Mitoma, Kazo, among others, have not yet appended signatures, the motion remains with less than 10 to go to the next stage.
Since we had intimated that we shall be ending the signature collection today, we are unable, because members left prematurely, they were not here. But what I can say safely is that we are under 10. We are under 10, we can go with that. And we urge members to take the challenge now, to come up.
Member of Parliament, Kilak County, Gilbert Olanya, says they thought that if Parliament sat as had been communicated, they would have hit the target. He expressed disappointment over MPs who were vocal on floor of Parliament, shying away from the exercise.
Parliament, many of our colleagues are suspecting that they may be appointed to chair the committee. Others are suspecting that maybe their names are on the list of sharing the so-called DC committee. That is why they are trying to distance themselves from appending their signatures. If you are shying away, you are running away, you don't want to be straight. This one is what is making people to have question mark about you. When it comes to an important issue, fighting corruption in this country, you tend to run away.
Accordingly, majority of MPs who have appended signatures on the motion are from the NRM party, despite a notice from the government chief whip, Hamson Oboa.
Who were waiting for the guidance from the chairman of the party. The president has spoken. Now, the government chief whip, Honorable Hamson Obua, cannot stop members from signing. Don't hide behind the government chief whip, because the principal, the president, has spoken.
Goes a long way in distinguishing between real men and boys, and real women and what? And girls. Because it is a motion which goes deep to the heart of our calling as members of parliament.
This exercise is expected to be completed before end of week. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Parental negligence and lack of a school fence at Lopay Primary School in Lopay Sub-County, Napak District, has led to low enrollment at the school. The school has 400 learners, majority being in lower primary.
This is Lopay Primary School in Lopay Sub-County, Napak District. It's a government-aided school with a population of 400 learners. Although the school has dormitories with bed facilities, there is no single boarding learner in this school.
The boarders have refused to come to school. They are saying the 25,000 by charging is too much. For boarding, the school has paid on the 5,000.
Residents, leaders and teachers cite lack of school fence and negative attitudes towards education.
They can put a child when he or she when she's still young. When she's around 3 years, when he or she reaches around 12 years, 10 years, 15 years, they return now that child home. They say, you come back, come and do this work, come and help me, who can help me? And those are the categories who are sending children come back.
Most of the children have gone to the streets to look for something to eat. Since Karamoja here, food is a problem.
Most of the children in this area are at the ground, grazing animals. You may find these young ones have been taken that responsibility of
Lopay sub-county in general, I think prefer having their children in the streets than have them in the school.
Last year, the school had 2 learners sitting for primary leaving examination and both passed in Division 2. It's class time, but at Lopay Trading Center, which is outside the school compound, most school-going children are seen doing casual work like fetching water and others playing. Napak District Education Officer Joyce Nakoya and other members of the community attribute the few numbers of learners to parental negligence.
That negative attitude towards having children in school, you prefer to get money, give your child to board a vehicle and go to the streets. The children we have returned, ask them where are they from. Go to these schools. It is Lopay Lokopo.
He or she got to go to school, but she found the weaknesses from the parents. The parent cannot be enough for the child a book, even a pencil. The child can cry, Mommy, I want a book, I want a pen, Daddy, I want a book, I want a pen, I want to go to school. Now from there they start now caning. And what will come now to the brain of that child? The solution is to escape to Kampala.
Nakoya says the district has tried to engage all stakeholders, but it has not yielded fruits.
We have had very many community meetings, community barazas, to talk to them about having children in school. Just look at Lopay. It has enough teachers' houses. It has classrooms. It has dormitories. But the children are not there. We have engaged the LC1s, we have engaged the LC3 of the sub-county, we have engaged even their leaders. The MP comes from Lopay, the Bokora MP comes from Lopay. We have tried even to engage him and say, where is our problem?
The district leaders explain plans of resettling street children in school.
This program that we are looking into, we are trying to see deliberate effort in making sure that we make Lopay Primary School safer, a safe environment for the children to be, by creating fencing, by adding teachers in it. Currently, as we speak, the school has less than 500 learners.
A campaign where we want to round up all the school-going age to be brought in school.
Locals and leaders call for support to school and parents. Government has tried to fulfill its policy of having a secondary school per sub-county. Lopay Seed Secondary School is under construction in Lopay sub-county.
How many classes do you have in this school?
There are
And several government-aided primary schools in Katakwi district have converted vacant classrooms into mini boarding facilities to protect vulnerable pupils and enhance academic standards. The decision was prompted by a significant decrease in pupil attendance in candidate classes, as many feared the perilous journey to school amidst potential attacks by the Karamojong warriors.
Some government-aided primary schools in Katakwi district have established mini boarding facilities to protect vulnerable learners from Karamojong warriors.
Sometimes we are disturbed by the Karamojong, so you find that sometimes children absent themselves because maybe the Karamojong have taken the animals, so parents go to follow.
This initiative is expected to have a dual impact by not only improving security, but also enhancing the academic standards of the vulnerable schools in the district.
They are learning in the evening, they are learning again very early, at around 5 they enter to class. So they are not really disturbed again as they were in their homes.
One pivotal supporter of this initiative is the Kazi ni Kazi Foundation, renowned for its transformative educational interventions across the district.
The security situation here is not very good. At times children come late to school, around 10 in the morning or 9, and then going back home early. Why is the school why are students in the classes? Simply because this is a school where parents themselves decided to have a mini boarding so that to enable children to study well, to enable children, especially the candidate classes, to enable children to study and to be in school at the right time.
Recently, the foundation launched a pioneer effort to install solar light systems in the helpless schools to illuminate the pathway to education.
This place used to be a camp, and like I said, it is at the border between Teso and Karamojong. I brought that facility to help the learners to study and to be at school.
Parents and guardians have expressed relief knowing their children are protected and can pursue their education without disruption.
By then, even the Karamojong, they used to disturb us here. So now, as that light is there, it's going to help us sometimes for the issue of security, because even if the Karamojong comes here, they will help us.
Kazi ni Kazi Foundation plans to expand this initiative and ensure every child has access to safe and conducive learning environment.
It's important to have this project cover all the schools in Ngariam, and that's why we decided to come today to launch it here at home and complete other schools. So this one particularly is going to cover all the 15 schools that are left, so that by the time, actually my intention is that by the time I get nominated, I should have completed all the schools with the solar panels.
As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that proactive measures and community support will pave a bright future for the next generation in Katakwi district. Mario Nawori and Joseph Oko for UBC.
Amanya gange nze Namtebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde, nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyenyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere, weewaawo abafere gye bali, naye ennamba eri emu yokka, era bw'eba ekukubidde omanya eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo 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 era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo, mwebale nnyo, mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
I like to know.
Stay fresh. You wanna compete, tell it be my get. Lighting. Lighting. I did make a lighting up.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, UHRC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, ECOP. ECOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Cheers to something refreshingly different. Putting the brakes on a fast-paced world. Slowing down. Just enough to stand out. Cheers to the beer that does it differently. Brewed longer for extra refreshment. Refreshingly Club. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. The leaders of Kasese municipality are frustrated with security in Kasese for allegedly denying His Majesty the King of Rwenzururu Omusinga Charles Wesley Mumbere chance to proceed with his already scheduled visit to appreciate the developments made by government in the municipality while he was away. The leaders say such restrictions heavily infringe on the King's liberties. Since last month, preparations have been ongoing for the Rwenzururu King Charles Wesley Mumbere to visit and appreciate several government projects in Kasese municipality. Yesterday, just when he was ready to embark on his journey, it's alleged there was a change in program indicating that Omusinga would not visit these projects.
I would have loved the king to visit the Kilembe Mines Hospital that was actually washed away, because it is one of the health facilities that was giving him services, health services. It's unfortunate that he has been stopped from visiting that area. This is the reason many people are asking themselves if the king has really been released or he is still in prison, because we thought he would be free to visit every part of the district, every part of the kingdom. When he is stopped from visiting areas that are so helpful to the Rwenzururu, we are left with very many unanswered questions.
So we invited him to come and also appreciate what we have done so far with the government And let him also thank the government that proper collaboration with the government is bringing development in Kasese.
I want to say that maybe there are politicians who want to use him to gain their interests. But for us as security and me in charge, the Radio District Commission and my team, we have never had it in our minds. But maybe politicians just want to maneuver their own ways. But the king should know that he was not blocked.
Meanwhile, health issues remain a significant challenge in some parts of the country as people strive to access health facilities. The Indian Women Association of Uganda is working to alleviate these health challenges.
The box and go deep down.
According to Falugan Patel, chairperson of the Indian Women Association, they regularly organize annual events such as bazaars, where the public is invited to donate funds, purchase various items, and access many services, all aimed at raising funds for their charity work.
This bazaar is open for all community, Ugandan, Indian, Pakistani. We would like to invite everyone next year more than this number today. Around 1,000 people are here present on the Kampala Parents ground. And I would like to say special thanks to Rupar India Group who supported us with this venue in Kampala Parents. This is our 7th year.
He adds that this year, the association has planned more health camp programs in different parts of the country to provide essential health services to people.
Culture. Here we allow everyone who wants the stall and whoever is doing business from home, from restaurant. Very many ladies are working from home to sell the clothes, accessories and everything, baking item. And they told us this year, please madam, you keep and support us.
The chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Indian Women Association of Uganda mentions that they've successfully secured donations from the annual bazaar events, which have significantly supported their health programs.
This is our annual event of the Iowa Bazaar. In this, we encourage people to come together, all communities meet, enjoy different variety of foods. There is sale of different items, games, which brings the parents, the children, elders all together to have a fun day out.
Maureen Babidie, Vincent Wamundu, reporting for UBC News.
Cheers to something refreshingly different. Putting the brakes on a fast-paced world. Slowing down. Just enough to stand out. Cheers to the beer that does it differently. Brewed longer for extra refreshment. Refreshing Club. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
What's happening up there?
Boss, I've had this cough for more than 2 weeks. I sweat a lot.
Did you get a checkup?
Just cough.
You can easily beat TB.
Don't you see the economy?
Yes, anyone can get TB, but the good news is you can live a TB-free life. If you've been coughing for 2 weeks or more, have lost appetite and weight, sweat a lot at night, you could have TB. Visit a health center near you for TB testing and more information on how to prevent and manage it.
How have you gone?
From the doctor come for Yoka.
Obulamu, brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
And now in business news, government wants civil society organizations to support efforts to harness the oil and gas resources. This appeal was made at the second annual Joint Civil Society Organization Conference centered on just energy transition.
This year's conference converged stakeholders from the public and private sector, as well as civil society organizations, to foster partnerships for sustainable development of oil and gas.
We want to continue to encourage more areas of collaboration and urge you all to advocate for a just energy transition for Uganda to develop and benefit from the petroleum industry, but also the opportunities that abound with the energy transition plan, including jobs that will be created as we transition.
The theme, Bridging Consensus on Uganda Energy Transition Plan, calls for a unified agenda on key issues related to oil and gas exploitation and a just transition.
So how has been your relationship with the CSOs?
CSOs we have been always quality relationship. That we have engaged regularly with them, and they have responded to our questioning, and they are questioners they have questioned on some aspect that has pushed us to do better in some aspect of our business.
Along the way, we have bettered the relationship, and we are glad as civil society organizations that we are able to have regular platforms for engagement.
The conference comes at a critical time as Uganda fast-tracks its investments to meet the 2025 oil production timeline. However, this commercialization push coincides with the global energy transition agenda on combating climate change.
The electric mobility industry and our drive around using electricity for transportation, we are looking at it in two ways: supporting the vehicles, but also supporting the three-wheelers, the border-borders. So this endeavor is not just a government endeavor. We are entering partnerships. So we are partnering with the private sector to ensure that they invest in electric mobility.
Oil and gas is pretty much still a very important factor in Uganda's energy mix. We shall still continue to see a growth in the consumption, in the demand of petroleum products within the short, medium, and even long term, within the visibility of what we can see until at least up to 2060. We are likely to continue seeing a growth in petroleum products. So it is very important that we maintain the investment in the oil and gas projects.
Energy transition is a major structural change to energy supply and consumption, involving a shift from primary reliance of fossil fuels for energy to renewable sources aimed at reducing carbon emissions. Government of Uganda has emphasized the need to merge economic development and climate action for a true and just transition, and thus it calls upon the civil society organizations to support it in its endeavors. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Kampala.
The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda has announced the results for the May 2024 examination diet, showing an improvement in candidates' performance across all three courses offered by the Institute. This improvement is attributed to increased student engagement, active participation from tuition providers, the introduction of a new syllabus, and the provision of new reading materials.
The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda Examination Board has addressed candidates' performance through student engagement, tuition provider involvement, syllabus revamping, and provision of new reading materials.
I hereby release the examinations results for the Certified Public Accountants course for the May 2024 examinations diet.
The chairperson of the Public Accountants Examination Board, Professor Laura Orobia, disclosed that performance in accounting technicians diploma was at 54.7%, certified tax advisor at 52.2%, and certified public accountants Uganda at 43.7%.
We had to sit down and do an analysis to see whether these engagements are helping the students or not. And we saw that those who attended these sessions actually registered the greatest number in the pass rates.
These results were announced during the release of the May 2024 examination results at an event officiated by the Vice President of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Ronald Mutumba.
This masterclass is one of the initiatives towards improving the performance of the students. And the Council is very confident that we are on the right track towards addressing the concerns relating to student performance.
Professor Orobia said 6,375 candidates sat for the examinations, which were conducted at 7 centers across Uganda, namely Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Kampala, Mbale, Mbara and Nkozi. The CPA course attracted the largest number of candidates with 6,141 participants.
An observation that across the 3 courses, ATD, CTA, and CPA, there's been a great improvement. Yeah, there's been a great improvement.
The Secretary of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Derek Nkaja, explained that ICPAU is the only body authorized by law in Uganda to certify professional accountancy practice.
We are looking at professional accountants who can teach other professions. That's the pedagogy, the master class on pedagogy. So you ask an accountant to train an accountant, not a bachelor graduate without accountants to teach an accountant.
The CPAU and CTA qualifications aim to develop professionals with the knowledge and skills needed to provide high-quality accounting and tax services in Uganda and beyond. The CPAU qualification covers financial accounting, management accounting, auditing, taxation, business law, corporate governance, and ethics. The CTA qualifications covers tax compliance, tax planning, tax administration, and tax policy. Crispus Adinitwe, Deho Habimana, UBC News.
Farmers have been rallied to embrace value addition for better returns of their yields. Development partners are concerned that most farmers take on projects delivered to them as handouts and fail to make the best use of them to transform their livelihoods.
Always struggle for months to reap from. Farmers always struggle for months to reap from their fields, but most times earn poorly from their sweat due to lack of market and value addition facilities. To enhance quality of produce for exportation, Sasakawa Africa Association has commissioned the construction of a one-stop facility in Otuke and Abim districts.
These 2 projects in total are going to cost about 900 million Uganda shillings, where we hope to reach a target of about 50,000 farmers with complete information. For example, instead of selling maize at 800 shillings, you should be able to sell posho at about 2,000, 2,500 shillings. And when we sell maize, we are losing because, one, we are exporting our jobs to the someone processing.
In Otuke, where a cereal processing facility will be planted, farmers say they spent a lot of money transporting their produce to Lira and Soroti for processing. Transporting a sack cost about 10,000 shillings and hiring of a truck costed about 500 to 600,000 shillings.
The store is being put for us, the one-stop center, where we shall have a grow input shop, the processing plant, the storage and offices for cooperative. And this will help our farmers to do much better in production, marketing, and also to boost their income at home.
We make sure we maintain the equipment for the rest of its life in this world. And the machines we are supplying, it has a minimum lifespan of between 20 to 25 years.
Otuhe is one of the districts that suffered adverse effects of climate change, and some anger-related deaths were also reported.
And we know it's going to take us a long way as a district. We come from very far, we start a lot of insurgency, and the weather patterns not so good.
According to Sasakawa, farmers will be supported with a tractor to boost production.
They should be able to open land on time, plant on time, do spraying, do transportation, do planting. All those services, if they are mechanized, help in cutting the cost of production.
If I give this center to a trader in Kasese,
every month, grandchildren will make 5 million shillings from you. Do not depend on us for everything. We are not giving handouts.
A one-stop center is a business model promoted by Sasakawa Africa Association to add value to produce for better economic reward. Edi Olwa, UBC News.
Operator of Uganda's first national lottery, Tuba Uganda, has ventured into life-changing jackpots as a powerful tool for social good, where Ugandans have the opportunity of winning funds under responsible gaming. We have this story.
Responsible gamings, like Sports Tech 10 winning jackpots, are a catalyst that positively demonstrates Uganda's preparedness for co-hosting AFCON 2027.
Looking at the AFCON 2027, I think it will help us as Ugandans also to build the infrastructure and calling upon all Ugandans to keep playing.
Shakib Nsubuga from Ithuba, Uganda says Uganda National Lottery is enhancing the livelihood of ordinary Ugandans.
Now, the National Lottery is an opportunity for Ugandans to participate in improving the lives of ordinary Ugandans. We all know that proceedings from the National Lottery go straight to the government to empower and uplift different causes. And the causes that we are starting with, that we are stipulated in the field of sports development and capacity building within sports. So all the money all the people that participate in such endeavors should be proud that they are supporting such endeavors to prepare Uganda to be able to host such events like the AFCON 2027.
Winners Kawiya Samuel and Ayabare John played Sports Tech 10 and rightly predicted the games. So Uganda National Lottery is a catalyst for positive change across the country.
This new game, and since it was something that was approved by the government, I said maybe let me check this out and and play as a youth, because I am already above 18. So I tried out a daily lotto. The daily lotto a ticket was about 600, and it was the only ticket that I've ever bought which earned me 480,000, and I claimed it and won. And me, the money I won, personally I'm going to start up another, it's like a retailer, or I get a kit from Ithuba, Uganda, so that I also start off my own.
The Finance Minister, Kasese, awarded the Uganda National Lottery operating license to Ithuba Uganda Limited for a period of 10 years.
And how you participate in this is going on, you can go on your phones and go on *278# and play with your phone via USSD. When you do that, you'll receive a quick pick, which you'll receive a randomly generated series of numbers that will be able to participate in the draw.
Crispus Arenitwe, UBC News.
And now in sports, Mutesa House won the Ndeje SS Sports Day Trophy 2024 after securing 544 points. Boya House came in second with 505 points, followed by Lumumba House with 491 points. A total of 7 houses participated, with each receiving accolades for their efforts. The sports day was held at Ndeje SS Sports Ground in Ndeje Town Council, Luero District.
Commissioner of Physical Education at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Reverend Canon Dr. Duncan Mugumia, praised Ndeje Senior Secondary School for adhering to the ministry's policy of conducting extracurricular activities.
I have never gotten a gold medal at the national level, but I am now Commissioner of Sports in Uganda. You can ask yourselves why. When I was applying, I attached many certificates, right from my secondary and right from my college, many certificates. And then I also worked on my academics.
He says extracurricular activities align with the ministry's new competence-based curriculum, so strategic patience and discipline of students remains key.
Love your country and love your parents, your neighbors, and even don't hate those who might appear to hate you. Have influence on them. In addition to that, have love for your knowledge. Knowledge. But you can't get knowledge when you are not in the street.
Students must take sports seriously because the lucrative field provides significant employment opportunities.
Make sure you develop and explore talents. I'm saying this, I've seen it, I've benefited from it. Today it's a source of employment. Many people are employed through sports, not only as managers, but also those who are paid big sums of money internationally. And it does not know which background you come from.
Activities included the tug of war, the 4x100 meters relay, the medley relay, and the 100 meters race for both girls and boys. In the overall winners' trophy, Mutesa House took a bull, while the first and second runners-up received goats. Maureen Babidie, Vincent Wamundu, reporting for UBC News.
Athletics.
Well, and that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Elizabeth Nakakuni on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
He was happy with his work. All the chicks were beautiful. He left them to play and feed. Now the hawk came and saw the red chick feeding. It flapped its wings for a kill, but the red chick ran away and flew into a basket of tomatoes. It tried to search for the chick, but he failed because all it could see was red. It got disappointed, so it tried to fly away. But as it was flying away, Jomo saw it. He got annoyed. He picked his catapult and aimed at the hawk.